I made this video because I haven't done an update in a while and I wanted to clear the air on a couple of points. First off, I do want to say that I really appreciate all my subscribers and anyone else who's watched my channel and left good comments on my videos. I might not say it as often as I should, but I really do appreciate it. First off, I'd like to address YouTube and Warner Music Group cutting off the audio on my Star Wars Empire Strikes Back review, in particular Part 3. Long story short, I used also Sprachzar Thrusta in my video. You know that piece they used in 2001, da 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 da, that piece. And I just used it because I like using classical music. I like playing it in my videos. And also, I was under the impression that it wasn't under copyright because the song's like 100 years old. But little did I know that YouTube and Warner Music Group would have a problem with that. So anyway, I go onto YouTube one day while I'm at work, and I just want to see if I got any new comments or any new good videos that might have come in. And then suddenly I see this fucking copyright claim against my video. Apparently, YouTube and Warner Music Group had a problem with me putting 30 seconds of a song that's about 100 years old. Why, I have no fucking clue, but they did, and apparently they muted my audio. Why they didn't delete the whole goddamn video, I don't know. Maybe they're just being cute. But in any sense, I violated copyright, and they muted the audio, and apparently I had to go through this whole bullshit copyright claim process where I gotta go and defend my use of a song that's over 100 years old. That's right, 100 years old, but apparently for some reason, whatever nutty reason they fucking dreamed up, it violates copyright. And I should have went through the whole bullshit process and got my video back and my audio back. But I figure, what's the fucking point? Why should I even bother? I didn't do anything wrong, but clearly these fucking assholes over at YouTube and Warner Music Group thought they did something wrong. So anyway, I just deleted the fucking video because I didn't feel like going through all that bullshit. Now I know better. Next time I get any of this fucking bullshit, assuming I even feel like staying here anymore, I'm just going to go through the whole copyright claim process, as stupid as it is, and get my fucking audio back. I mean, clearly, cutting off the audio in my video for, 30 seconds is going to stop copyright infringement dead in its tracks. Absolutely. After that, no one's ever going to do copyright infringement ever again on YouTube. In fact, I'm going to go on YouTube right now, and I bet you 10 to 1, I'm not going to see any instances of copyright infringement whatsoever. I mean, besides, all the hacked up movies and the music videos and all the couple segments, bits of news and all those other shit on there. There's not going to be no copyright infringement ever again on YouTube. I know that, because they're doing such a great job stopping copyright infringement. Of course, I know there's torrents, and there's sites like RapidShare where you basically can just steal whole movies and songs and all other shit. But, clearly just cutting off the audio on my video for 30 seconds is going to stop copyright infringement. So just let me give YouTube and Warner Music Group a big hand for doing this. Way to go, guys. Seriously, though, fuck YouTube. Fuck YouTube and fuck Warner Music Group too. They're a bunch of hypocritical assholes who wouldn't know copyright infringement if it came up and fucking slapped them in the goddamn face. They're stupid. They're just plain old flat out stupid. How do they expect to stop copyright infringement when they can't even fucking find it most of the time? Not to mention the fact that they fucking sanction copyright infringement with assholes like the Irate Gamer. Christ, have you ever watched any of his videos? Copyright infringement? What about his fucking Back to the Future video? Isn't that copyright infringement, using footage from Universal Films movie? But oh no, we can't do that to him. Oh no, we can't go after that fat fuck because he's a YouTube partner. Oh, we wouldn't want to fucking bother him, heaven forbid. When I think about all the great video game reviewers who have been kicked off YouTube for bullshit copyright claims, guys like RMake21 and Play It Bogard and Helsing920 and fuck knows how many other poor bastards who've got fucking kicked off when other assholes can get away with it, it just fucking brings my goddamn piss to a boil. It really does. It's just so fucking hypocritical and unfair, and YouTube should be fucking ashamed of themselves. If you're gonna have a stringent copyright policy, for Christ's sakes, enforce it fairly. Is that too much to ask? Oh wait, what am I fucking talking about? This is YouTube. Of course they can't fucking do it. Recently I've noticed that a lot of the best video game reviewers, guys like Spoony1 and the Angry Video Game Nerd and other really good video game reviewers, they've left YouTube behind. They've told them to go fuck themselves, and they've gone off and done their own thing, and they're doing great. And you know what? Maybe a lot of these other video game reviewers should do it too, because, their fucking policies are shit. They're shit. They can't even enforce them well. So hopefully, with any luck, everyone will get the fuck off YouTube and they'll suffer. Oh, and speaking of the Angry Video Game Nerd, I wanted to address this point as well. Apparently, there are a bunch of haters on my site who have basically been calling me a ripoff, saying, oh, you're a ripoff of the Angry Video Game Nerd, you fucking suck, you steal all his videos, you steal all his ideas, blah, 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 all that fucking bullshit. Well, let me address that next. Now, before I begin, I just want to say that I'm a huge fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd. I love the guy's videos. He's great. I've watched him ever since 2006, and I think he's one of the best game reviewers, if not the best game reviewer on the internet. I think the guy's terrific. And yes, before anyone asks, he is an influence on me. Absolutely, definitely. His mannerisms, his swearing, his style of going after bad games and ripping them a new one, he's definitely been an influence on me. I'm not going to pull any of that irate gamer bullshit where he basically just denies the guy's existence and says, oh, well, he doesn't exist. Everything that I do just comes up naturally from me. I don't watch his videos and steal his points and just recast him with my own bullshit. No. I'm completely original. No, I'm not going to do that. No, fucking forget it. And if you want my opinion on the irate gamer, he fucking sucks. He's horrible. He's a goddamn miserable, rotten fucking hack, and I wouldn't fucking watch him if you gave me a choice between watching him and drinking cyanide. I'd rather drink the fucking cyanide and keel over than watch his goddamn fucking plagiaristic bullshit. It's fucking hacks like him that give good video game reviewers a bad name. His bullshit is so fucking thick you need a goddamn shovel to dig through it. Christ all fucking mighty. When you have to steal from a fucking Futurama bit to get a laugh, you know you're fucking terrible. I mean, Christ almighty, did you hear some of his fucking jokes? Oh, my rug's double parked outside. How do you come up with such fucking shit? Are you mentally retarded? How can you come up with such fucking lame-ass jokes? If this guy wants to do us a real fucking favor, he'll get off YouTube tomorrow and delete all his fucking videos while he's at it. Please, just stop. Irate Gamer, you're never going to be as fucking good as the Angry Video Game Nerd, so you might as well just fucking get used to it. Now, as for my haters, you guys can go fuck yourselves. You can go fuck yourselves sideways, you can go fuck yourselves upside down, and you can go fuck yourselves inside out for all I care. You guys are pathetic. You're fucking nothing. You're so fucking lame that you have to go after a little tiny game reviewer like me. I mean, don't go after the big fucking game like the Irate Gamer. Christ, these fucking videos are so lame, a fucking 5-year-old on YouTube can do better than him. With all the stuttering, all the uhs, they can fucking beat him and all his crappy-ass special effects. But oh, no. You have to fucking come after me. Oh, by the way, I looked on your fucking sites, and in most cases, there's nothing there. There's no videos, there's no favorites, there's nothing. All you did is just make up a fucking site so you could just attack me. Is this how pathetic you guys really are? That you have to go after me, just a little game reviewer? And Christ almighty, and get some better fucking insults. Christ, how can you make such shitty insults? Oh, I'm just a ripoff. I'm a fucking ripoff. Oh, it's so terrible. Yeah, that's really inventive, guys. Christ almighty, why don't you get a fucking dictionary and brain, and then maybe we'll talk. And speaking of haters, I want to address the fucking douchewads who have been plaguing my American Psycho book review. Jesus Christ, you want to talk about fucking pathetic? These people are so fucking pathetic, they're getting all lathered up over a fucking book review. Now look, I gave my honest opinion about that book. I fucking hate it. It's a piece of dog shit. I stand by that review. And I'm not going to sit there and fucking whitewash it just because a bunch of fucking lame-ass, pimply, stupid-ass motherfuckers who are living in their parents' basement can't take a fucking negative view. Go fuck yourselves. Why don't you try reading some good books for a change instead of that fucking shit? And if you don't like it, too fucking bad, assholes. It's my goddamn channel, and I'll say whatever the fuck I like about whatever book I like. You don't like it? Piss off. And as for the other haters on my videos, if you don't like my videos, why don't you try not watching them? Oh my god, guess, what a radical concept. Actually not watching a person's videos when you don't like them? Insane. Crazy. I mean, I know this is a radical idea and I don't want to strain your pea brains, but try this. If you watch a video about halfway or a quarter way and you don't like it, maybe, just maybe, you could turn it off and go watch something else. I mean, but no, please, let's just not do that. I mean, I don't want to strain your fucking brains. I mean, you come up with these great concepts like rip-off, AVGN, rip-off, hack. I mean, I don't want to push you guys, but, you know, when I watch a video and I don't like it, if I don't like it, I don't watch that person's videos anymore. If I don't like it 1 minute in or 30 seconds in, I shut it the fuck off. Now, please, I don't want to push you guys too hard. Please, I don't want to give you such a radical idea. But maybe a few years from now, you could think about it and say, hey, maybe he's right. Maybe if I don't watch this video and go watch something else that I love, I might be a happier person. How about that, guys? Does that sound good? Good. In any case, to sum it all up, if any of you are worried that I'm going to leave YouTube, don't. I'm probably going to stick around. But if they keep pushing me with all this fucking copyright claim bullshit, I might just fucking leave. And if they get me pissed off enough. Just overall, I'm just really frustrated and angry about what's happened to YouTube. This used to be a great fucking place to go to, but for whatever reason, maybe it's because Google came in, or maybe it's because a bunch of assholes came in, but whatever the reason, they've just turned to shit lately. They're crap. The fucking channel's crap, the content's crap, they promote crap, it's all fucking crap. We're neck deep in fucking crap, and it seems like there's nothing we can fucking do about it. So in any case, hopefully I'll still be around. I got some more reviews planned, and I'm going to do them, but if this fucking shit keeps up, I'm just out of here. YouTube isn't my whole life. It isn't everything. I can fucking leave it. I might not like it, but I can fucking leave it. Hello, everyone. This is just a quick video to let you know that I'm alive and well. I didn't go to prison, and I didn't die, despite what other people on the internet might have said to the contrary. Nor did Ocean send out a hit team to kill my ass, though after all the shit I gave him, I'm surprised they didn't. Also, I want to apologize to you guys for not getting in touch with you sooner. I'm not exactly sure why I stopped making videos. I mean, it wasn't like I planned it that way or anything, it just kinda happened. If I had to give a reason, I just have to say I just got burned out, man. I just got burned out and sick and tired of playing shitty games. If I could go back in time and do things differently, I would have at least put up a hiatus video just to let you know that I was stopping. Unfortunately, I can't do that. What I can do, though, is tell you that I am coming back and making new reviews. Plus, I got a couple of older reviews from 2015 that I forgot about, so I'll be posting them as well. As you well know by now, I love movie licensed games. Sure, lots of them are crap, but there are some real gems hidden among the shit. Sometimes, though, there's unofficial and unauthorized video game adaptations of movies. But how the game developers get away with them, I'll never know. And in this video, I just want to take a look at a couple of them. So anyway, let's get into it. How did they not get sued? First up is Sly Spy for the arcade. Or as the sexy woman's voice puts it in the beginning,
Sly Spy.
Sly Spy. Ooh, this game's trying to seduce me. How nice. Anyway, I really like this game, and someday I may review it. But right now, I just want to focus on one thing. Specifically, how did Data East not get sued by the James Bond franchise holders? This game is literally fucking James Bond, just with an American coat of paint. Look at this. You can call your character 007 in the beginning. The hero wears a tuxedo and has a Walther PPK, just like Bond. There are pretty women. He has his country's flag on a parachute. There's a Jaws lookalike boss. And an Oddjob lookalike boss. The hero even has to foil a nuclear plot just like half a dozen of the Bond films. Okay, maybe I can let the game slide on some of those bits, because they're common enough not to be copyrightable. But for Christ's sakes, the game even has a fucking golden gun! Sure, it acts more like a super rifle, but still! Alright, so maybe the game developers could get away with it by saying it's an homage. Homage being French for, we're ripping your fucking ass off and not paying you a cent. So go fuck off! While doing research for this video, I looked it up, and they didn't get sued. Why they didn't? I have no idea. Maybe the Bond people didn't care or it slipped past their radar. Next on my list is Zombie for the Amiga. And what can I say about this one? It's George Romero's classic film Dawn of the Dead. And yet again, I can't understand why the game developers didn't get sued for this one. It's 4 characters at a mall, just like the film. Okay, they do look a little different from their movie counterparts, but still! There's 3 men and 1 woman. Couldn't they have used 3 characters instead, or maybe 2? Also, the game starts with a chopper on the roof. There's zombies shuffling around the mall in a survival horror type situation. Christ, there's even a gun shop in the mall! And does the opening image remind you of anything? Now, Hollywood is known for being very litigious, yet the game developers somehow got away with this. How? I have no fucking idea. Again, though, maybe the game was obscure enough that it slipped past their radar. Third on my list is Arumana no Kiseki for the Famicom. Alright, so this game only came out in Japan. But if you can't see that this is a blatant ripoff of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, then I don't know what to say. Let's look at the evidence. The game starts with a stone stolen from a small village. Sound familiar yet? No? Okay, then how about this? A hero who wears a fedora and wields a whip-like weapon. Still not convinced? Alright. The hero uses a knife and a gun. There's a scene with a minecart. And you even fight a boss at the end that suspiciously looks like Kali. But the first level boss is a dragon, and Indy didn't fight one of those in the film. So I guess it's not a rip-off after all. Oh man, at this rate they may as well have ripped off the Raiders March like Highlight did and put it on the main title screen. Because the people who made this game couldn't be any more obvious about their theft if they tried. I guess maybe the only reason they didn't get sued is because it only came out in Japan. Or perhaps George Lucas and Paramount simply didn't know about it. Or maybe they knew about it and they didn't want to sue because it would be too complicated with another country, or maybe it would take too long. Or maybe they didn't sue because they didn't think they had enough of a case and it would cost too much money. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert. The strangest thing of all is that this is the best indie game for both the NES and the Famicom. And it's not even an authorized adaptation. Go figure. My next selection is the cliffhanger Edward Randy for the arcade. And here we go again. Only this time, instead of ripping off Temple of Doom, they're ripping off Last Crusade. First off, we have yet another hero with a whip. Not to mention that the first level is a boat chase with a blonde-haired woman at the wheel. Remember Elsa in Venice, anyone? Plus there's a train level and a biplane level. If the people who made this game didn't take a buttload of inspiration from Last Crusade, I'll eat my goddamn fedora! As with all the other games, I have no idea how they didn't get sued. The nearest I can figure is that, again, nobody noticed the game. And as with the other games, they weren't exactly hiding their influences. My final selection is Rostan for the arcade. And who did they take from this time? Why, our old friend Conan the Barbarian. Now I would like to give the game designers the benefit of the doubt. But they even have Rostan sitting on a throne! If I didn't know any better, I would think that they wanted to get sued. As for the game, you have a muscle-bound hero. He wields a big sword and hacks up his enemies. He avoids traps in a castle. Even the hero on the throne looks suspiciously like Arnie. In this case, though, maybe they could get away with it because Rostan is a bit more generic. But come on! Can anybody honestly say that this game wasn't heavily inspired by the 1982 Conan film? I sure can't. So in conclusion, the fact that these game companies didn't get sued baffles me. And this video is by no means a complete list of rip-offs. Then again, Hollywood is often guilty of stealing from video games, so maybe they're just getting a taste of their own medicine. I'm not saying it's ethical, though. I'm just pointing it out. I love movies, and there are plenty of them that I would like to see turned into video games. But I chose the ones I'm about to cover for a particular reason. And that reason is, I think these movies are highly adaptable, yet no one ever tried to make them into games. So anyway, let's get into it. Movies I'd like to see turned into video games. Let's begin with the 1956 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'm a really big fan of this film, and I'm surprised that nobody ever tried to make it into a game. When I watched it again recently, I thought, there's a number of ways you could do it. For example, they could have done a straightforward adventure game where you go around town destroying pods and avoiding pod people. Or a point-and-click game like Shadowgate or Uninvited. Or maybe even something like Space Invaders. But instead of blasting alien ships, you destroy seed pods. In addition, I would like it if they made the game in black and white to give it a retro 1950s feel. For my next selection, I'm going to jump ahead a few decades. Michael Crichton's Runaway from 1984. This is a movie that I think would lend itself quite well to the action game treatment. You could avoid or destroy those acid-spitting robotic spiders. You could dodge homing bullets from that cool gun in the movie. You could kill or disable runaway robots and Luther's henchmen. And you could even have the freeway car chase with those mobile bombs. Although the movie wasn't that popular, I like it a lot, and I think it could have made a good game for the ColecoVision or the Atari 7800. Or for later systems like the NES or the Sega Master System, or hell, even modern systems. If they could make Beverly Hills Cop into a shitty PS2 game, they could resurrect this one. Next up is Eraser from 1996. Of all the Arnie movies that didn't get the video game treatment, this is the most surprising to me, with the exception of Commando maybe. Now they did make a sequel game called Eraser Turnabout that came out in 1997. It was a full-motion video game for the PC, and it didn't have a lot to do with the original film. It didn't even have Schwarzenegger in it, even though you're supposed to be playing his character from the movie. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't count. But in any case, the original Eraser is chock full of action scenes that could have been turned into great video game levels. For example, jumping out of a burning plane and dodging it in midair, or the scene where Arnie fights alligators and henchmen at the zoo, or the scene at the end of the film on the docks where he gets the railguns and blows a bunch of guys away. They could have done an awesome first-person and/or third-person game for Windows, Super Nintendo, and/or Genesis. But no, what do these game companies adapt instead? Movies like Toys, Babies, Kids, and Cutthroat Island. Fuck, at that rate they may as well have turned Jingle All the Way into a goddamn game. Next on the list is Dark City from 1998. This one really burns my ass because they could have turned the movie into a cool free-roaming game. You could play as the film's protagonist, John Murdoch, and go through the city tuning structures and destroying strangers with his mind power. I think they could have made a really sweet game for the Xbox or PSX. Okay, maybe the technology at the time couldn't handle constantly shifting landscapes and buildings, but they could have gotten around that with cutscenes. Come to think of it, why haven't they made this game now? It's still a really great concept, and the technology is there to portray it. Hell, you could even make something like Little Big Planet and create and tune your own cities. The fact that they haven't turned Dark City into a video game yet just feels like a real missed opportunity. And while I'm on the subject of missed opportunities, here's one more for you. Inception for the PS2, Xbox 360, and Wii. Admittedly, I am cheating a little bit because they did make a tie-in game for Inception called Mindcrime. But that game was so fucking pathetic that I don't even count it. It just blows my mind to think that they could make a game out of Watchmen of all things, but they couldn't make a game out of Inception? Think about it. They could create a game where you could enter people's dreams and steal their innermost thoughts and knowledge. And they don't make a game out of that? Inconceivable! So in conclusion, this is by no means a definitive list. I have a ton of other movies that I would love to see turned into games. And if you guys have any suggestions for movie to video game adaptations, please feel free to post a comment or a video response. That is, if Google Plus will ever let you post a fucking comment. Sometimes when I'm bored, I like to dream up the craziest, most unlikely movie to video game adaptations imaginable. I imagine I'm a video game developer, and I'm given the task of adapting the most unadaptable movies out there. What would I do? So anyway, let's get into it. My crazy ideas for movie to video game adaptations. I've made a list of 6 movies. Given my fecund imagination, I could probably do 100, but I like to keep this video at a reasonable length, so 6 it is. Number 1 on my list goes all the way back to 1981. It's Mommy Dearest, the infamous biopic about Hollywood star Joan Crawford, starring Faye Dunaway as the titular character. In case you don't know the plot, Mommy Dearest chronicles the decades-long abusive relationship between Joan and her adopted daughter, Christina. I mean, that just screams perfect video game material, am I right? I must confess, though, that I really like this camp classic. It's not a great film by any means, but it is an entertaining one. You can't deny that. Although you do have to wonder, how in the hell would you ever turn it into a video game? And who would dare take it on? Here are some of my ideas. First off, the game's plot would take certain scenes from the movie, specifically the campiest ones. For example, the cutting down of the trees and rose bushes scene. You have to cut down so many trees and bushes in the time allotted, or else old Joni will shove her foot right up Christina's ass. Or you could play as Joan and have her need to chop down so many trees within the time limit. Otherwise, she explodes into a rage and nukes the entire surrounding area with a mushroom cloud. Plus, it would be the only video game in existence that would use both booze and child abuse as power-ups. Joan Crawford could gain strength and change forms by drinking herself blotto, cutting her daughter's hair off, and strangling her. Of course, there would also have to be a level where Christina hurls wire hangers at Joan, and any wire hanger that hits Joan results in a one-hit kill. Then the game ends when Joan Crawford dies. Or you could play as Christina on one final level and end the game by pissing all over Joan Crawford's grave. As for who would take it on, I'd give it to LJN and their developers for the NES back in the late 1980s. Seeing what they did to both Back to the Future and Jaws, I doubt they could do any worse with this one. Number 2 on my list is the drama Rain Man from 1988, starring Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. It's the movie where Hoffman plays an autistic man named, well, Rain Man. During the film, Rain Man reconnects with his estranged brother, played by Tom Cruise, while on a road trip across the US. Not exactly the stuff of epic video gaming, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Now granted, it would be hard to make levels from the movie, since there isn't a lot of typical video gaming action there. So instead, maybe it could be a couple of mini-games or some really short levels. For example, in one mini-game, Rain Man counts spilled toothpicks on the restaurant floor. And if you don't count them correctly, you lose a life. In another mini-game, Cruise's character Charlie would have to get Rain Man to a TV showing the People's Court with Judge Wapner within a certain time limit. If Charlie fails, though, Rain Man goes ballistic and headbutts his brother to death. And in yet another short level, Charlie would be trapped in a phone booth and he'd have to avoid Rain Man's farts. Or maybe you'd play as Rain Man and you'd have to charge a fart meter to drive your brother out of the booth and win the level. You could also have a driving level where you try to drive the old Buick Roadmaster while Rain Man keeps tugging at the wheel. If nothing else, it would be the only driving game in existence that would have a legitimate excuse for shitty controls. So anyway, as for the system, I'd put it on the NES again. And what other game company and developer could handle it but Ocean? It would be a gas to see what they would do with this license. Or at least some kind of wet fart anyway. Moving on, my third selection is a thriller from the early 90s. Basic Instinct from 1992, starring Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone. The story in brief concerns a messed up cop named Nick Curran, played by Douglas. Detective Curran is investigating the brutal ice-pick murder of a retired rock and roll star. Stone plays the prime suspect, a kinky mystery novelist named Catherine Trammell. Did she kill the rock star, or was it someone else? Anyway, plenty of bloodshed, head games, and sexual hijinks occur in the following 2 hours. Now this is one of those movies that might make a decent mystery game. Except for the fact that everybody fucking knows who did it right from the start! So there goes the mystery. Once again, I believe a loose adaptation would work best here. Like Rain Man, a few short levels or mini-games based on scenes from the film. In one mini-game, Catherine could hurl ice picks at Nick in his apartment. Then he'd shoot them back at her and they would impale her in the head. Of course this is a video game, so she wouldn't die instantly. She'd just take some damage instead. And then there could be a sex mini-game, kinda like Custer's Revenge. Only instead of avoiding arrows, you avoid HIV and other STDs floating around in the air. Oh, and this game wouldn't be complete without a beaver mini-game based off the famous scene from the film. Curran and some other cops are questioning Miss Trammell in a police interrogation room. And every so often, to get a rise out of the cops, she uncrosses her legs and shows her naked pussy. Now the object of the minigame is to have Curran look at Catherine's pussy as many times as he can. The more looks he gets, the more it charges up his boner meter and helps him win the level. But if he doesn't get enough looks, he loses the minigame. And his erection too. Finally the game ends with Catherine as the last boss. And you defeat her by throwing used condoms, cocaine, and cigarettes at her. When she takes enough damage, she surrenders and you get to do the horizontal mambo with her one last time while the credits roll. Not to mention that just like the Verhoeven movie, it would be super gory and sexual with lots of blood and semen spurting everywhere. Since the Super Nintendo and Genesis wouldn't touch a game like this with a 100-foot pole, you'd have to give it to the 3DO. Unless that is, you want people to sweat when they ejaculate and get stabbed. As for the company that would handle it, give it to Virgin Interactive. Or maybe give it to the same people who did Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. My fourth selection is Interview with the Vampire from 1994, starring Brad Pitt and again Tom Cruise. The movie's plot is about, well, it's in the title. A vampire does an interview where he whines on and on about his centuries-long existence. There you go. That's the plot. Now this is one of my favorite movies, and it has a lot of gory action. But despite that, I can't see how it would be turned into a video game. Why, you might ask? Well, for one thing, the vampires are virtually invincible unless they're killed by sunlight or they get hacked up. And for another thing, it's almost impossible for humans to hurt them, so there they go as enemies. Even Lestat in the film said he almost felt sorry for people since they were such easy prey. Alright, so you can play as Louis and use the other vampires as enemies. So what can we do for levels? Maybe you could do 2 at most. A boss battle with Flaming Lestat in New Orleans and the vampire fight in the Paris catacombs. Great! I always wanted to play a technologically advanced game with only 2 levels in it! Or maybe you could have a game where Louis has to avoid sunbeams for the whole thing or else he ends up sparkling like Edward Cullen. Sounds like a whole lot of fucking fun, right? Since I love this movie so much though, I couldn't bear to have a bad company make it. So let's give it to Konami for the Genesis. Moving ahead in time to the 21st century, my 5th pick is We Need to Talk About Kevin from 2011. Like Mommy Dearest, this film is about another fucked up family. Only instead of the mother being fucked up, this time it's the kid. Now again I like this movie, but it doesn't exactly stand out as perfect video game adaptation material. I mean, it has among other things a young psycho going on an arrow-shooting murder spree at his local high school. I'm sure that'll sell like hotcakes in this day and age. And as if that isn't enough, the movie's told out of order. So how would I adapt it? Here's how. First, we need to change the movie's whole title and concept. Specifically, we change it from "we need to talk about Kevin" to "we need to kill the little bastard." Second, you make every level a boss battle where you have to kill the little bastard. In each level, you kill Kevin over and over again, and he keeps coming back like a zombie. You drop anvils on him, you kick him out a 50-story skyscraper window, you throw him in a vat of acid, and so on. As for the non-chronological nature of the movie, that's fine because it's all boss battles anyway. You just keep killing Kevin until he stays dead. As for who would handle it, give it to Sony Computer Entertainment for the PS4. My final selection is a popular recent film, Love, Simon from 2018. The story is a romantic comedy about a closeted gay teen named Simon who falls in love with another closeted gay teen whose online name is Blue. An asshole at school named Martin finds out that Simon is gay and blackmails him into helping him score with one of Simon's close friends. Further hijinks ensue, and, spoiler alert, the plot ends happily for everyone involved. Now, the idea of a romantic teen comedy doesn't exactly sound like the stuff of video game legend. I mean, could you see Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Clueless as a video game? Well, Ferris Bueller might make a good video game. I don't know. But anyway, my point is that most romantic comedies don't lend themselves too well to video game adaptations. However, Love, Simon was a really popular film, and it might rake in a bunch of coin, and I'm here, so let's give it a shot. Okay, here we go. You play as Simon through various levels of the game based on particular movie scenes, starting with the "I like your boots" scene. Simon has to get the attention of a handsome gardener near his home by hurling boots at the guy's head. But the gardener dodges them and blocks them with his leaf blower. However, if Simon hits the guy in the head with enough boots, the gardener falls in love with the teen and they make out. Yeah, I know that's not what happened in the movie. In the movie, Simon struck out. But then again, Marty McFly wasn't collecting clocks on the street and hurling milkshakes at Biff and his gang in the first Back to the Future flick. So I'm allowed to take a few liberties here. Other levels follow, including beer pong and drunk karaoke at the party. Simon has to get drunk and avoid puking on other partygoers. As for the mystery of Blue's identity, you have to collect clues in the form of text messages and emails floating in the air. Also, you have to fight off Martin and prevent him from revealing Simon's secret by hitting him repeatedly with iced coffees and John Lennon's hair. Like the movie, Martin eventually does out Simon to the whole school. So this leads to a driving game where Simon has to collect rainbow flags, flamboyant shirts, and pink hearts to become more gay and gain acceptance from his friends and family. Don't collect enough of them in time, though, and everybody ostracizes Simon. And then poor old Simon is forced out into the street as a gay hooker and ends up dying of a heroin overdose. Sounds real heartwarming, right? Just like the film. But then if I had to follow the movie closely, there'd be almost no conflict in the game anyway. Moving on, the penultimate level ends at the carnival, just like the movie. Blue's identity is revealed as Bram, a black gay Jewish soccer player. Here Simon has a limited amount of time to collect tickets to get onto the Ferris wheel ride. Once he collects enough tickets, he has to climb to the top of the Ferris wheel and kiss Bram before time runs out. If Simon fails to complete his task in time, both he and Bram fall off the ride and break their necks. Succeed, though, and Bram and Simon get to live happily ever after. Hooray! The last level is another driving game where Simon and his friends run down Martin on the street and get away with vehicular homicide. Okay, I made that last part up, but Martin was an asshole and he really deserved it. Anyway, the game could be on the PS4 and Activision could make it. So in conclusion, I'm curious to hear your crazy ideas for movie to video game adaptations. So please feel free to post them in the comments below.